Hi everyone, I'm Tim Peake and welcome aboard the International Space Station, where we're orbiting Earth 16 times every day. One of the most rewarding activities that some astronauts undertake on orbit is to talk to schools using the space station's ham radio. Now these are events that are planned by ARIS, which is a worldwide group of amateur radio volunteers who are dedicated to introducing young people and students to science, technology, engineering and mathematics. Now this is the equipment here in the Columbus laboratory, which consists of a handheld radio, a headset, and we also have a ham video unit. Now as the International Space Station orbits above your location, a radio link is established between the ISS and your school. Now because we're travelling at nearly 18,000 miles per hour, which is an incredible 25 times the speed of sound, we usually get about 9 or 10 minutes of good radio contact before losing the signal. So about 5 minutes before the scheduled start time of the contact, I come into the Columbus laboratory and configure the radio so that I'm on the correct channel. And sometimes I'll set up the ham video too. Just before the predicted time, I'll begin to start calling the school using the standard amateur radio calling techniques. For example, if the call sign of your school was GB4 Fun, I would say Golf Bravo 4, Foxtrot Uniform November. This is Golf Bravo 1 Sierra Sierra, listening and standing by. Now at your school, the radio operator will be listening for my call, but may also transmit and try to call me as well. You'll probably have a much more powerful transmitter on the ground than we have up here on board, so I'm likely to hear you before you hear me. Then, once we can hear each other, then comes the best bit, which is actually talking to the students and answering the questions. Once I've answered all the questions, we use the remaining time to say goodbye to each other and end the connection. I'll then spend a few minutes configuring the radio back into a rebroadcast mode, and then I'll go back to my day job, which is of course doing science on board the International Space Station. ARIS is a brilliant opportunity for astronauts to talk to school pupils. It's really rewarding to hear how excited the students are when they're talking to somebody up here in space. And it's a true privilege to be able to inspire our next generation of scientists and engineers through amateur radio.
Somos las niñas y niños de Galápagos.
El 2020 fue un año difícil para nosotros.
Pasamos gran parte del tiempo sin salir de casa.
Queremos seguir estudiando, aprendiendo y conociendo.
Damos gracias a nuestros padres y docentes
por el esfuerzo que han hecho este año.
Gracias a todos por mantenerse unidos en este tiempo difícil.
Desde casa hicimos viajes virtuales y exploramos otras islas.
Conocimos capitanas, científicos, personas de la comunidad y gente de mar.
Estamos listos para salir a explorar nuestras islas.
Estamos listos para cuidar nuestros océanos.
¿Cómo están? Todos los ingredientes que necesiten durante todos los 15 días.
Hoy vamos a conectar con astronautas en el espacio.
Thank you, NASA, for the opportunity.
We are ready now.
We are ready now.
We are ready now.
Es tan solo el comienzo.
Somos las niñas y niños de Galápagos.
La transmisión de hoy y la conversación con el astronauta se harán en idioma inglés. Al terminar la transmisión, tendremos una conversación vía Zoom con el profesor de inglés para traducir cualquier parte que no hayan entendido y comentar juntos la experiencia. Sus docentes les compartirán el enlace para 11:30 hora Galápagos.
Welcome and thank
All right, Emiliano, are we good to go?
Yes. La transmisión de hoy y la conversación con el astronauta se harán en idioma inglés. Al terminar la transmisión, tendremos una conversación vía Zoom con el profesor de inglés para traducir cualquier parte que no hayan entendido y comentar juntos la experiencia. Sus docentes les compartirán el enlace para conectarse a las 11:30 hora Galápagos.
Welcome and thank you for standing by. You will have open lines for the duration of this call. At this time, I'd like to inform all participants that today's call is being recorded. Thank you, and you may begin.
Thank you, Operator Sandy, for your help today. Hello, everyone. This is Brian Jackson, BE6JBJ in Airdrie, Alberta, Canada, your amateur radio moderator for today. Through the help of amateur radio volunteers and the crew on the International Space Station, we hope to soon establish ham radio contact with the International Space Station as it flies more than 350 kilometers above the Earth towards South Africa. This is all accomplished with ARIS, amateur radio on the International Space Station. The ISS is currently flying over the Atlantic Ocean on a northwest to southeast heading, whizzing along at 28,000 kilometers an hour. At this point, I'm going to pause the script to find out what the beeping is that we have going on. John, are we still connected to you?
Are you talking about me, John S? Yes, you still
Yeah, John S. Sorry, can you still hear? Am I the only one who hears that beeping?
We hear it too.
I'm also hearing it.
Okay. Sandy, is there any way that we can find out where that's coming from?
I'm looking for it, and I'm not finding it.
Okay, I don't hear it now.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue. Like I said, the ISS is currently flying over the Atlantic Ocean, around 28,000 kilometers towards South Africa. This contact will be performed using the Amateur Radio Telebridge Network, a worldwide network of amateur radio ground stations that enable students to contact the International Space Station. What makes today's contact unique is the fact that all participants are safely situated in their homes to avoid personal contact in line with COVID-19 protocols. We call this a multi-point contact, and they've only been done a handful of times since the beginning of the pandemic. Thank you for joining us today and staying safe during today's event. ARIS is a consortium of ham radio volunteers from 9 different nations that develop and operate the amateur radio station on the International Space Station. Some members of ARIS are the American Radio Relay League, the Worldwide AMSAT Radio Amateur Satellite Corporations, the Canadian Space Agency, the European Space Agency, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, and the Russian Federal Space Agency. The amateur radio ground station that will establish contact with the International Space Station today is Zulu Sierra 6, Juliet Oscar November, ZS6JON, located in the home of John Saigo. John lives near Johannesburg, South Africa. Our contact for today is with Victor Glover, KI5BKC, a member of Crew 1 who will be operating NA1SS on board the International Space Station. Victor will be talking with students in the primary schools of Galapagos, Ecuador. This event is also being broadcast around the world via the internet through the ARIS YouTube channel. Many thanks to John and Steve in the U.S. for their work to make this broadcast possible. Emiliano, over to you.
Víctor hablará con estudiantes de escuelas primarias de las diferentes islas del archipiélago de Galápagos, en Ecuador, donde 35.000 personas viven en estas islas que son conocidas por sus especies únicas y sus áreas protegidas. Victor will be talking to students from primary schools in different islands in the Galapagos archipelago in Ecuador. 1,000 people live, which are known for their unique species and protected areas.
Thank you, Emiliano. We've asked Galapagos Governor Norman Ray to please briefly tell us about the primary schools in Galapagos, Ecuador, and the students taking part today. Norman Ray, over to you.
Thank you very much, dear Victor. Nice to meet you. Greetings from the Galapagos Islands. As people of Galapagos, we are represented today by 16 girls and boys in the 4 populated islands. We protect our land and our sea. We fight for keeping our islands pristine and sustainable. The future of this site depends on the connection of these children with education and science, as well as their links with ecosystem, the world, and the universe. We reach out to you so that children and young people in the Galapagos and on this blue planet that you see so clearly from above can understand that not only can they be the guardians of their heritage, but also that they can reach the moon and beyond. Thanks, astronauts, for listening to us, for allowing us and making us see what we cannot from where we stand. Whenever you get back to your Earth, to the Earth, Galapagos awaits you to greet you in person, and it will be an honor to work together with our kids to find solutions for the challenges that humanity faces. We truly wish your mission to be a great success. Saludos de las Islas Galápagos, querido Víctor. Como pueblo de Galápagos, hoy estamos representados por 16 niñas y niños de 4 islas pobladas. Hacemos nuestro mejor esfuerzo para proteger nuestra tierra y nuestro mar. Luchamos por mantener nuestras islas prístinas y sostenibles. El futuro de este sitio depende de la conexión de sus niños con la educación y la ciencia, así como sus vínculos con el ecosistema, el mundo y el universo. Nos acercamos a ti para que los niños y jóvenes de Galápagos y de este planeta azul, que ves con tanta claridad desde arriba, puedan ver que no solo pueden ser los guardianes de su patrimonio, sino también que puedan llegar a la luna e ir más allá. Gracias por escucharnos, por permitirnos y hacernos ver lo que no podemos desde donde estamos. Cuando regreses a la Tierra, Galápagos te espera para saludarte en persona y sería un honor trabajar junto a ti con nuestros niños para seguir buscando las soluciones a los desafíos que enfrenta la humanidad. Que tu misión sea un gran éxito. Over.
Thank you, Norman Way. We appreciate your words today. John, ZS6JON at our South African ground station, please tell us a little bit about your station and how you'll handle today's contact with the ISS.
Well, very good evening to all of you from South Africa. My name is John, ZS6JON. I live about 30 kilometers, half an hour's drive from the city of Johannesburg, on the western side. I've been involved for about 20 years with space communications, and always fun to hear the kids speaking to the astronaut. My setup is quite simple. The antennas are all computer controlled, and the computer will be following the International Space Station as it goes along. Just one or two things to remember to our audience, please. When I initially start on the contact, I will be opening up the radio's receiver, so you all will hear a sound similar to this. I'll just play one small snippet. Okay, don't be alarmed, that's normal. We're just opening up all the receivers to see whether Victor can hear us, and after contact has been made, it should go pretty normal. So, hoping for clear contact, clear signals, and hope we get through all the questions. So, good luck, everybody. Back to you, Brian.
Thank you, John, and good luck to you. To all in our audience today, remember that what we're doing on the International Space Station is really truly an experiment. So we can never really tell how successful the results will be until the experiment is over, even though we've done this many, many, many times. As a final reminder, students, please make sure that you are quiet in the background until it's your turn for the question. And students, also don't forget to say over at the end of your question. In a little less than 2 minutes, the International Space Station should be coming up over the horizon for John to contact. Thank you to everybody for sitting quietly until this happens. Emiliano, you'll need to listen very closely to when John connects to the station, then he will turn everything over to you, and that will be time for our first question. Good luck to everybody involved. John, let's turn it over to you. We will stand by.
Brian?
Okay. Great, everybody. Just please, all people, remember when you finished asking your questions, just give a clear over. It just gives me a chance to switch everything in between, and we should be good to go. I'm going to start calling him, so you're going to hear the noise, and then hopefully he will come up pretty soon. So it'll go a little bit quiet when I call him, but let's hope for the best. So please stand by, everybody.
Chicos, todos en silencio. Operator, if you can call again kids number 1 and 2, they are not in the line now.
Okay, I'll try that.
N1 ISS, N1 ISS, Sierra 6 Juliet Oscar November calling. N1 ISS, CD 6 Juliet Oscar November calling. November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra, how do you read? Okay, Emilio, please fire away your first question.
Amy? What do you feel when you see our planet from space? Over.
Hello, and when I see our planet from outer space, I am in awe. It is so beautiful and so complicated, but also so alive that I just could stare at it all day long if I could. Good question, over.
Carla? On behalf of Carla, what did you want to be when you were 12-year-old? Over.
Carla, when I was 12 years old, I wanted to be a police officer like my father. Over.
Laura?
Hello, my name is Laura. How do you work in space health support life in our ocean? Over.
Good morning, Laura. Our work in space gives us an amazing perspective that allows us to see so much of our ocean several times every day, so we can see how things change. And it's important for us to have this knowledge and information if we want to make changes that protect our oceans and our environment.
Carlet? Carlet? On behalf of Scarlett, can space exploration help us monitor our volcanoes and eruptions? Over.
Great question, Scarlett. Space exploration and even satellites that are not crewed are able to image our planet in ways that we may not be able to without the advantage of space, and so they absolutely help us monitor volcanoes and eruptions and other natural phenomena like hurricanes and tsunamis and wildfires.
Jim?
Okay, hi, you can hear me?
Go on.
Hi, you can hear me?
On behalf of Jim, did you ever see Galapagos from space or other Pacific islands? Over.
Hi, Jim. And actually, today we flew right over the Galapagos, the beautiful Galapagos Islands, and several other Pacific islands, and they are just beautiful. The colors, the mountains, and the bays, and all of the different colors of blue, the different shades of blue are
Rebecca?
Hi, my name is Rebecca. What is the strangest thing you've seen in space? Over.
Rebecca, the strangest things that I've seen in space are the colors in the deserts of Africa. All of the different countries in Africa have these beautiful deserts, and they have these purples and reds and oranges, and after seeing so much blue and green all day, those colors really are strange and beautiful, and they stand out. Over.
Romina?
Hi, my name is Romina. How can space research help protect animals and humans? Over.
Good question, Romina. Just like looking at our oceans and our forests, the vantage point of space helps us to see so many things. And the imagery that we have from space, for example, can help us to monitor forests and the different places that our animals live. And so we have to understand and have data in order to make changes in our behavior or to monitor natural phenomena, for example, so that we can help those animals on Earth. Over.
Christian?
Hi, my name is Christian. How does your work at the ISS help protect our planet? Over.
Christian, this space station is such an amazing place to see things from, that we're able to see our coasts and our oceans, all the parts that you can't even see from the land, as well as the hurricanes and tsunamis, the wildfires that are burning in the United States, in California, on the West Coast, for example. And so all of that information is used to help the scientists and engineers and politicians on the ground to make decisions to help better protect our planet. You have to know before we can make decisions to do better. Good question. Over.
On behalf of Davi, what is the function of the space station, and what do astronauts follow when they return to Earth? Over.
Debbie, the space station does several things. It is a system of laboratories. It's a manufacturing facility, a communications research, communications relay station. It is an outreach platform, and we do lots of different activities here, as well as observing our planet. And when we come back to Earth, we spend 1 to 2 months adapting to living in gravity, and we have people that help us to do that. But we also, just like with the pandemic, wearing masks and social distancing, we do that prior to launch and after we come back to protect the crews in space as well as other people on the ground.
Sophia?
Hi, my name is Sophia Carrick. How do you eat or drink in space if there's no gravity? Over.
Sophia, we eat and drink very similar to how you do on Earth, but we don't have to use plates here because our food won't spill or fall onto the floor. So most of our food and our drinks are in bags, and we can still chew and swallow just like normal because those functions are both controlled by muscles in your body. But it is really interesting to play with your food in space because it does float, and that is very fun.
Matías?
Matías. How long does it take to orbit the Earth? And if you see Galapagos Island on the way over?
Matthias, we orbit the Earth once every 90 minutes. We go around the planet 16 times a day, and we can see the Galapagos several times a day on our way. Over.
Camila?
Hi, my name is Camila. How can we use satellites to prevent disasters? Over.
Hello. Okay, Camila, I'm so sorry, but he's actually just disappeared below the horizon. So for now, I'm so sorry. But do you want to take it, Brian?
Absolutely. Thanks, John. Emiliana, would you explain, please, to the students that we've lost the signal? He's gone down below the horizon, and then I'll continue with the script.
Chicos, perdimos la señal porque está más allá del horizonte del astronauta con la estación espacial. Vamos a continuar con el script, con el guión, pero estuvieron muy bien todos los que preguntaron.
Thank you, Emiliano. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just shared a moment in history. Amateur radio station ZS6JON, operated by John Sago, ZS6JON in South Africa, contacted Victor Glover, KI-5BKC, aboard the International Space Station, speaking with students at the primary schools of Galapagos, Ecuador. Congratulations to all the students involved. Give yourself a pat on the back and a big congratulations and a big hand. That was fantastic. Now for the international volunteer team of ARIS, including the Radio Amateur Satellite Corporations around the world, the American Radio Relay League, CSA, ESA, JAXA, NASA, and Roscosmos. This is Brian Jackson sending my greetings to all of you in amateur radio terms. 7-3 from VE6JBJ in Airdrie, Alberta. Sandy, if you could now stop the recording, that would be great. Thank you.